Hello and welcome to the channel. It's Irad coming to you with the latest news regarding Star Citizen, and we had a very interesting episode of Star Citizen Live that gave us some really good information about what is coming up with cargo gameplay and basically everything associated with it. So we're going to break it down here and have a look at the best lines, or at least perhaps the most important information that we got out of this episode. Also, the road to CitizenCon for Irad is getting further traction thanks to Louis Maniscalco, who just pinched in here and added $20 to the fund to send me to CitizenCon. So thank you so much, Louis. That is much appreciated. And let's get now started. So the guest for the last episode of Star Citizen Live was none other than Chad McKinley, who is of course the senior lead gameplay engineer at Clan Imperial Games based in Los Angeles. And so we started off the episode with an update as of why Star Citizen Alpha 3.23 is not going to include all the cargo updates at launch, and that's simply because they don't feel that right now it is ready. They have identified some game-breaking issues that would simply prevent people from summoning their ships, which is just not possible, right? They don't want to have another disaster like 3.18, in which the game was basically unplayable back in those days. They learned from their mistakes and they want to try to avoid that from happening. So that's why they believe that this needs a little bit more time, but at the same time it's also being part of the 3.23 branch. We're not talking about months of delay. It's just going to be a couple of weeks, and it's going to be in a 3.23.1 or 3.23.2 patch. Also, next, how do we prevent unwanted people from getting into our personal hangar? Well, at the beginning they want to make a system that's going to be similar to what we have right now. For example, when our ships are being impounded and they're just teleported out of the hangar, that's basically what's going to be happening. There's probably going to be a prompt that will tell the players that this is not their hangar and that they are going to have to leave, or they will be forced to leave by the game. But at the same time, it's also going to allow them to interact with the hangar for a little bit, so it's still going to be possible for players to steal items and be teleported back to the main lobby, but with the items that they would have stolen. So that's still something that will be an issue, but they are going to be working on trying to resolve that as well. Next, Chad McKinney is answering a question that I asked, but I'm not the only one. Plenty of other people asked this question as well. Once relieved, we will receive a personal hangar that welcomes the biggest ship in our fleets, but what if we buy a bigger ship? Well, here Chad said that for this release, if we buy a new ship that is bigger than the one we have in our roster, then we are going to have a public hangar, which is not going to be our hangar, so we're not going to be able to leave things here because they are going to be removed after we leave the public hangar. So there's going to be like some kind of cleaning up mechanism here that would just take everything away, and it's just going to be lost. There's just going to be no way to retrieve those items left in the public hangar. Next, there was a rather big segment as of who can get into our hangars following the previous question. Apparently these are going to be for party members, so party members will have access to not just a hangar but what will be available inside too, so they will also be able to take your belongings and maybe transport them from A to B, because we assume that you would have asked them. And if they are doing nonsensical things, if they are doing things that are undesirable, you can always kick them out, and then the system will kick them out automatically from the hangar, just as if they were a regular intruder. But what is the occupancy limit of the personal hangar? Here Chad said that there is no limit. Nothing stops you from having the entire server into your hangar, and I'm sure that people will be trying. I can only imagine here parties with 100 or 200 people inside one hangar. It's going to be a lot of fun, not to mention that we will be able to decorate our hangars, as we are going to be able to buy furniture in-game to decorate our hangars with that, but no dates were given as far as that is concerned. Next, we are going to also be wondering if we'll be able to draw weapons inside our hangars, and the answer is no. Apart from the tractor beam, no weapons will be able to be drawn. Maybe Grimex, but they don't want the hangars to be a fighting area, especially as long as security features are not fully implemented in the game right now. Now the next part covers some question I did also ask on Spectrum here. This question is, how does manual and automatic loading work? And Chad says that a small outpost is not a place where we're going to do a lot of trading, so we will not have access to automatic loading in the smaller sections. So that means that we're gonna have to load everything there. That's interesting. The idea is that the smaller places are for manual loading and unloading, and so small trade. The big location, however, will have automatic loading and unloading because these places are made for high volume trading. CIG want to differentiate the two gameplay and the trading routes, so there will be different facilities depending on the location: small, medium, large, and extra large. Even at small outposts, they said that the freight elevator will be very close to the hangar pads, but we are going to have to move the boxes manually. The auto loading time and the precise will be adjusted as they progress into the development of the game, and our feedback, as always, will be important to the developers. After that, there were a couple of questions about the cargo itself. Is the mass of cargo still planned to affect ship performance? And apparently with the release of 3.23, cargo is still going to have no mass on the grid, so it's not going to affect how a ship flies, but in the future that is going to be the case. Can we attach anything to the grid in 3.23? And so here the answer is that vehicles and ships and even corpses will not be able to be attached to the cargo grid, but as long as something is in the box, it will be attachable. So in the future we are going to be able to do that, because this is something that they didn't mention, but with the release of 3.23, only boxes. Can you sell mission cargo boxes elsewhere and steal them? And so here the answer is very straightforward here. Cargo missions will have the goods intended to a precise destination. So if we do not do that, we will get fined and the items will be of a lesser value, and the items will be flagged if we intend to sell them at cargo boxes elsewhere. But rumor is that we're still going to be able to sell them at no questions as terminal. It's just that it's going to be worth it and probably more interesting financially speaking to just deliver the cargo than just selling them for profit. Now the next one is also a question that I asked: are we going to be able to call multiple vehicles or ships at the same time? And here again, not at first release, but we'll be able to move the ship or vehicle somewhere else and call another one, just like what we can do right now with vehicles when we want to have multi-crew and maybe some convoys. That's basically how it is. So there we have it, guys. This is the end of this Star Citizen Live with some interesting answers. I really personally found that the answers regarding multi-crewing and having multiple people in your hangars were very interesting. Let me know what was your favorite part about this live Q&A regarding hangars and cargo. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members as always who help make this content possible, including Dr. Frobin, Zero Crusher, Deployable Fidel, and Ducky to Ducker. I've been Irad. I'll see you guys in the next one.